The wind blew softly across the open field as Daniel crouched beside his children, trying to mask the tremor in his voice with forced calm. His youngest, Ellie, wailed in his arms, while her older siblings, Jacob and Lila, stood frozen, shocked into silence. Behind them, her figure grew smaller with each hurried step, until the outline of their mother dissolved into the distance. No final glance, no goodbye, just the sound of her car door slamming, and then nothing. They had argued that morning again about bills, about her restlessness, about the dreams. She said she gave up on motherhood. He thought it was just another flare of frustration. He didn't think she'd leave. Not like this. Not with 3 kids crying in the dirt. But she did. This shattered the quiet illusion of a love that had bloomed over 6 years ago. Love once built on hope, soft laughter, and vows exchanged in the hush of intimate moments. Daniel was 26 then, a quiet man with ink-stained fingers and a habit of overthinking. He worked as a part-time librarian while finishing his degree in early childhood education, a career choice he often had to defend to people who thought men had no business raising other people's kids. He didn't care. He believed in stories, in shaping young minds, in giving kids what he never had, stability. Samantha, on the other hand, was 23 and dazzling in a way that felt almost misplaced in their sleepy town. She was an artist, restless, wild-spirited, and always planning her escape to New York, Paris, or anywhere that wasn't here. She worked at a local cafe to pay for her painting supplies and used her free time sketching people in coffee shops, often dreaming of gallery walls and city lights. They met when she ducked into the library to escape the rain, a sketch pad tucked under her arm, soaked shoes squeaking on the tile. Daniel had looked up from reshelving children's books and offered her a towel. She laughed, thanked him, and called him chivalrous, which made him blush to his collar. What followed was a whirlwind. They spent the summer tangled in long conversations and late-night walks. She said he grounded her. He said she made him feel alive. When she talked about leaving, he asked her to stay, not with pressure, but with hope. She said yes, because something about his steadiness made the world seem less terrifying. Their paths crossed by chance, but their connection felt immediate. Daniel was drawn to her vibrancy. She was captivated by his calm. They balanced each other, or so it seemed. Over coffee and rainy day bookstore visits, they stitched together a future. She stayed for him. He made space for her dreams, even if he didn't fully understand them. They promised to build something lasting. Marriage came quickly, kids even quicker. In the early years, love was enough. They moved into a small house with peeling paint and a garden overrun with weeds. It wasn't much, but it was theirs. Samantha painted in the sunroom, Daniel worked late at the library, and they built a life around each other. Jacob was born a year later, then Lila, then Ellie. 3 little humans in 4 years, each child arriving like a beautiful storm, reshaping the rhythm of their lives. Samantha tried, really tried, to adapt to the life of a mother in a small house with creaky floors and laundry piles that never ended. But her eyes always wandered back to the door. She painted less. Her sketchbooks gathered dust. Daniel, consumed by work and parenting, didn't notice the way she stared out the window longer each day. They fought more often. She accused him of being too calm, too predictable. He accused her of being reckless. What he called responsibility, she called routine prison. She loved the kids, she said, but hated the life. "I feel like I've disappeared," she whispered one night, curled at the edge of the bed. Daniel wanted to fix it, but all he had were diapers and dinner shifts and bedtime stories. He was already pouring from a cup half full. They tried therapy. It worked briefly, then it didn't. Samantha wanted more than stability. She wanted freedom, expression, and a version of herself she could no longer find in laundry piles and grocery runs. So when the arguments began, first quietly, then louder, Daniel thought they were growing pains. He didn't realize she was slowly packing her heart away. The morning she left, the air felt strange, like the house knew something he didn't. She packed a single suitcase while the kids were watching cartoons. She didn't say much, but just that she needed to go find herself before she completely lost who she was. He asked her to stay, not out of anger, but out of desperation and fear of the unknown. She said she couldn't. Then she walked away. The children cried for days. Daniel did too, but only when no one was watching. He still laid out 4 plates at dinner out of habit. He kept the house quiet in the evenings, hoping that if he did everything just right, maybe she would walk in through the door again. But she didn't. Faced with reality, he braced up to fill the gap for his children. He learned how to do ponytails, calm nightmares, and answer hard questions with gentleness. One night, as he was tucking Lila in, she asked, "Daddy, are you lonely?" Daniel paused, brushed a strand of hair from her face, and said softly, "Sometimes, but not when I'm with you." The absence of love once shared had left a void, but in its place, something deeper began to grow. Devotion. It wasn't always graceful. It didn't come with romance or applause, but it was real. He learned that love isn't always loud or perfect. Sometimes it's just showing up again when you have every reason to walk away, but don't. And in that choice, Daniel found something stronger than what left him. He found what stayed. He found responsibility. And with it, a new kind of love, quiet, steady, and unshakable. Years passed. The ache of her absence dulled, replaced by something sturdier. Resilience. He never remarried. He didn't have time to chase what had left. He chose to build on what stayed. And when he sat in the audience at Jacob's high school graduation, with Ellie clapping wildly and Lila wiping away tears, he realized something. What Samantha called a trap became his greatest purpose. Subscribe for more real-life stories that inspire. Comment, like, and share. See you in our next edition of Onyez Stories.